The OG from Halloween. You are talking about the very first shape. But I'm going to let him talk to you about that. Give a big round of applause for Mr. Nick Castle!
Hello, everyone.
Oh, come on now. He said hello, everyone. You guys can answer. Let's try this again. So, how are you enjoying the show? Did you have a good Saturday yesterday?
I did. I met a lot of you lovely folk here from Florida and the local states that are close by. And just having a wonderful time. Of course, I have friends here, too, that I meet up with that I also do signings. So, you know, it's always a chance to get back together and say hi.
Well, I'm really glad that you like it, Ocala. I really love the way this is set up, where everybody gets to be one big unit. It's one big event. You're not off in a corner.
Right.
So everybody can experience talking to the OG from Halloween.
There you go.
All right, so
look,
you...
I'm on the TV.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It's Nick Castle.
I didn't realize yesterday we had that panel back, or the monitor back there, so there was a couple of times I'm like, oh, I'm out of frame. I gotta move over this way and make sure we angle. So that's totally awesome.
And I just remembered I had the right hat on for this.
That's right, that's right. Okay, so if you guys see, we have a mic up here that's actually very well lit, that's really spooky for us on the stage. So if you guys have any questions, which I know that you do, and if you don't have a question, you better figure it out right now, because that's a live mic for you guys to ask the questions of this man that you may have waited decades to have the opportunity to have him answer. So we want you to go ahead and line up. He and I are gonna have a conversation. And when it makes sense for us to go to the live mic, we're going to do that. So if you have a question, go ahead and start lining up right now. All right, so Nick.
Yes, sir.
So, have you ever been a character in a scary movie? Of course.
One. I was in one movie.
One movie? What movie was that?
It was in 1978. I had a friend who was directing the movie called John Carpenter.
Have you guys ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of John Carpenter?
John that someone knows him in Florida. And he asked me if I would be in his movie, and I said, what do you mean? I just want to stick around here and watch you direct, because I wanted to be a director. Because we both went to film school together at the University of Southern California, which almost got into the playoffs, but not in football. But in any case, so John said, why don't you put this mask on and walk around? And here I am 100 years later, still doing it. I was in also, only other times I was in the movies at all were 3 times in the new David Gordon Green trilogy that you probably all just saw, hopefully. I thought he did a nice job, and so I got little, I'm kind of stuck in there. You see me every once in a while, and it's kind of fun as a little, kind of where's Waldo character.
So when you were convinced to wear this mask, was there any thought in your head at that point that, hey, I'm going to put this mask on and this is going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life because I'm going to become famous based on this thing? Or was it just like, I'll just do it? And if you would have known then that you were going to be doing this, would you have still done it, or would you have run the other way?
I wouldn't have known what to make of it. The idea that you can put on a rubber mask, not say a word, not have any acting experience, and then become like, the favorite of so many people. It's pretty remarkable. It's very lucky, and it's been a great ride and a lot of fun. But there was I did it in 1978, and then for 30 years I was a director and a writer, had no thought about ever returning to do anything about it. And then the person that is my manager for these kind of shows called me up one day and said, hey Nick, you want to come and meet your fans? And I went, who, what fans? I didn't know I had fans. And then I came to one thinking, oh, this is kind of scary. I was kind of scared about it. I didn't know what to make of it. And had the best time. And I've been doing it ever since. So about 10 years I've been coming and meeting people all around the country and the world. I was in Germany and England, and it's been quite a ride.
That's awesome. So yeah, there's definitely a few things that you said in there that we're going to be talking about here, but we've already got some people waiting in the line, so we're going to get to these questions right now because we want to get the questions answered and the information that you guys want. So, first person in the line, tell us your name and then what you got.
Hi, I'm Jamie. My grandma always has told me about going to see the original Halloween in theaters and how much it scared her my whole life. And I wanted to know how kind of that fan base has changed over time that you've seen going to all of these conventions over the past, you said 10 years that you've been doing them.
How have the conventions changed over the years, did you say?
Yeah, and how like your
How has your fan base changed
Fan base.
since you started doing
Oh,
these
I see.
conventions?
I see what you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's because of the new series or not, but it just seems to grow and grow and grow. You know, it's like people enjoy, haven't seen these new movies. They hear about it. They hear from their grandparents or their parents, that saw it when they were kids. And then they go, let's take a look. So you get, not only you get that crowd, but now you get build with a new generation. And the horror genre, as I'm sure you're all here because of, it's just such a fun family, to be around. And it's, and there's something about the genre that really makes you a diehard fan. So over the years, I think that's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. The idea of nostalgia driving a lot of the fun that families even have, to come to these kind of shows. That's really grown too. This is my perception. I know. So hopefully, I'm just hoping that this so-called recession we're about to go into doesn't dampen the enthusiasm, of course, because it does cost a little bit to come here and say hi to your heroes. So I hope that answered your question.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, next person, come on up to the mic. Tell us your name and blow his mind with the question you're about to ask.
Well, my name is Anthony. I was going to ask a question. I forgot what it was while I was waiting. That happens with age. I saw Halloween when I was about 17 years old. And I have this little knack for things, and I knew that it was something complete. I grew up at Universal Monsters.
Oh, sure.
When I saw Michael for the first time, and he repeatedly, you'd think he's gone, then all of a sudden he's sitting up. He's gone. He's sitting up. I said, this is something fresh and new. This is going to become a legend. And behold, here we are.
It was you then that did this.
You willed this to be. Look what you did.
No, my friend, it was you that you created not only a legend, but an entire mega industry. It's phenomenal, and we cannot thank you enough for creating that.
Oh, thank you.
I just have one question because there's been some Facebook debates.
Okay.
So we just want to clarify that. Was that you in the 2018 trunk scene when the mask comes out of the trunk and he closes the trunk and you're standing through the back window? Okay.
That's Mr. James Jude Courtney, who did a wonderful job, I think, in these last.
Oh, it was fantastic.
He's done a great job.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, there was a lot of debate. Well, it's the castle in that scene. No, it's just I just wanted to make sure that I'm not on the wrong side of that debate.
Right.
Well, now he's on the right side, and you're going to go back to those Facebook groups after the show, and you're going to be the one. I literally heard from Nick Castle himself, and you're going to put that into that right now.
Well, I have my friend videotaping this right now, so I don't have to say a word. I'll just put it on.
Oh, there you go.
And on top of it, I'll say, I'll just leave this right here.
No, just to clarify, for that movie, 2018, I was in one scene only, and it's when Jamie first confronts the shape after he's escaped, and she sees him up in the second story window and shoots at him, and it goes, she thinks it's him, but it's a reflection.
Yeah,
so that's me up in the window doing the little head tilt, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
That was menacing. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough because what you created makes it possible for us to be here and actually have our own businesses and industry.
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
good.
Great
Good for
man. Great man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
next person, come on up. Give us your name and wow this man.
My name is also Jamie. I wanted to ask, how do you feel about the way that the character that you've created? How do you feel about it? How the ending went? Are you proud of how it went? Are you happy about how he's ended?
How it ended? This last series of films? Yes. No, I think first of all, I was privileged enough. The director, wanted me to be part of the new movies in some way. In fact, he asked me if I wanted to play the shape throughout the first one, and I said no. I'm 112 years old. I can't do those things. And you needed someone that was strong and like James to pull that off. So, but that's only to say that he would send me the scripts for the new movies early on, and let me comment on things and give him my impressions. When I read the Halloween Ends script, I went, Jesus Christ, you are either crazy or very bold, because you're going to take this in a direction that a lot of people are going to question. I told him that, and he said, I know, but I want to do something original. I don't want to just do what everyone thinks you should do. And I said, well, God bless you and good luck. So from that point of view, I thought he did a wonderful job. He did it in terms of crafting the movie, and he's very smart, and the way he uses his camera. As a director, I can really appreciate that. Now, how did it end? There were multiple endings that they had, At one point, this grinder at the end now, hopefully that's a spoiler alert for those of you who didn't see it. That was very late in the process. At some point they went, you know what, let's just really kill him. So I know that was disappointing to a lot of fans, but you know what, don't be too disappointed, because I also know these producers. And because the movie made a lot of money, there will be another iteration of Mr. Michael Myers, guaranteed. I don't know how it will happen, but you'll get him back someday.
Halloween begins.
Halloween begins. How about this one? The Ghost of Halloween, of Michael Myers.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, next person, come on up, give us your question. What's your first? Also tell us your name, give us your question.
How you doing?
Good.
My name is Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
My main question is, the mask of Michael Myers originally came from a depiction of William Shatner.
Right.
I want to hear your honest opinion when John Carpenter came up to you and says, I have this idea of making such a movie prop that they had stored, such an iconic mask that you can go to anybody, kids including, and they will say, well, that's Michael Myers. Which is amazing in itself. But I want to know, what was your first thoughts of whenever John Carpenter looked at you and said, I have this idea to start this franchise with this mask of William Shatner?
Well, the way it happened with me is that, John and I went to film school together. I worked on his first movie, which started in film school, called Dark Star. He did another one called Assault on Precinct 13, which I thought was real good. I had nothing to do with. And then when he was going to direct, he had already set up the project and was in pre-production for Halloween. And they were shooting it about a mile from my house. Some of all the scenes in the neighborhood on the exteriors and some of the interiors. And so I went up to him and said, hey, John, I'm going to direct soon, so I want to go on your set and watch you do your work, and then I'll learn a lot of stuff. And he went, great, but why don't you then just put on this mask and walk around? So it was as offhanded as that he gave me the job. And I looked at the mask and I went, oh, this is cool. I had no preconceptions of what it was or how it was going to turn out. But really, the mask itself, you have to give almost all the credit to the production designer and director of Halloween 3, by the way, Tommy Lee Wallace. Maybe a lot of you know Tommy. You've met Tommy in the past. Who found the mask and, you know, found the Shatner mask, doctored it, figured it out, showed it to John and Deborah, and they went, wow. You know, they knew right away it was something special. So that's what I know about the origin of the mask and my way of being part of it.
All right, thank you.
So have you ever had any run-ins with William Shatner at one of these shows and have to be like, dude, what's going on, man? Why did it have to be me? Or is he like, dude, that's so awesome. Now I'm in a horror movie franchise.
I was at one not too long ago. I did want to go up to him and basically say, Mr. Shatner, I'm sorry for all the grief I probably put you in. And he'd go, what? But I never got a chance.
All right, come on up here. Next person. What is your name? What you got?
My name is Donnie. When I first watched Halloween, the scene that creeped me out the most, I can remember it like it was yesterday, was when Laurie was leaning up against the wall, and in the background, you just sit up, and you just look right at her, and that I don't know, that part creeped me out every time I watched it. And I guess my question to you is, in watching that film, is there a part that gave you the creeps, just watching it?
That creeps me out?
Yeah.
Well, I think you picked a really good one because, he seems to get, hit or kicked or stabbed or, poked, and goes down, and you go, okay, that's it. At least that's what the character in the movie thinks. And then the audience is going, don't drop the knife, don't walk away, finish him off, So that always happens, and he comes back. So I really like that scene that you're talking about, where I lift up, which, by the way, I could never do now. I could do it when I was 30. but right now, that's a little
Leave it
more
to James Jude Courtney to do those things.
Let James do that.
May I ask one more question?
You know what? Do it.
Okay. So, the first two movies, did some background research. Read that the first two movies were supposed to be it for Michael Myers. The second movie was going to be where he died, and the third movie with the mask was supposed to be his, like a start of an anthology series. My question to you would be, what would be your opinion on that?
I couldn't hear the end of it.
What would be your opinion on that anthology if they
The anthology idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at the time it seemed like a great idea because I think Halloween 2 didn't do as well as Halloween 1. And so they thought, oh, okay, so maybe this is the end of this. And they, like you say, they killed him off, looked like it at least, in the end of Halloween 2. And John had this idea of doing an anthology series, like every Halloween, there'd be a new story. But it would be Halloween 3, Halloween 4, and it'd be a new story with a new character, a new killer, a new whatever. Kind of like they do with some of the TV series, where they're not necessarily the same character. But when Halloween 3 came out, people still remembered Michael and wanted Michael to be in it, and it kind of got a bad rap for it. So the people that own the franchise realized that there was still some power in that character, and I think that's why they decided later on to try to resurrect it, and of course it's been resurrected ever since.
Thanks a lot, man. So a quick question here. So back in the day when you had the three franchises basically were going head to head with Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Halloween, was there ever any talk of like, we really don't want to do a sequel, but oh my gosh, Friday the 13th just did another one, and Nightmare on Elm Street did one, so now we're kind of forced to have to do another one to kind of keep up with the Joneses?
I imagine that has something to do with it, but more than that, it's not forced to. It's like, I want to make more money.
Yeah, very much.
These guys that own this franchise, they don't do it just out of fandom themselves.
Oh, if there's some meat on the bone, they're going
There's
to
some
go
meat on the bones, exactly. And frankly, I don't have any firsthand knowledge of that because after Halloween 1, I just went away until 2018 Halloween. Everything else was done without any of my input, and frankly, I didn't see any of the sequels until I started coming to these conventions and people asking me questions about the other ones, and I went, I better go see what I did then, or what my character did. And then I got to meet some of the guys that played Michael in these other ones, and they've become friends of mine and acquaintances. So I can always go, oh, I saw you. Good job there.
Exactly how I wanted it to
Yes,
be the whole
exactly.
time.
You did a great job. So in any case, I've had more fun with it since I've gotten, to this point.
All right, next to the mic, what's your name? What's
All
your
right.
question?
My name's Alex, and remember me yesterday? I was talking to Ken.
Absolutely.
I've got the same question for you. I asked Ken. There's obviously you're a super nice guy. How do you flip that switch to go from super nice guy to,
A killer?
Yeah,
You put on a mask.
stabbing someone 45 times.
Have you seen some of the little kids here with the mask on? It's just as spooky. It's just spooky. It's like that mask is Tommy really caught lightning in a bottle there. It's just a great, spooky, kind of weird, blank. You read into it a lot of stuff. So when I'm under the mask, I'm just like this. But in terms of the walk and everything like that, that just took a little experimenting with.
And I also asked him, has there ever been a chance where someone was being rude to you, and you're like, I'm Michael Myers, right?
No, I've never done that. I've never done. Besides, I think they would go, "So what? You're just an actor then."
I think you've just given him a good idea for the next time he's at Denny's.
Just keep a big knife
good
in your
idea.
back pocket. And just,
I may need this. I know LA is getting much more dangerous these days, so I might have to use your
I have
idea.
one more, I promise. Have you ever been sitting there and just been stressed out of your mind, wondering how am I going to remember all these lines?
But that's the one saving grace about Michael, isn't it? You don't have to do any lines. That's the only way I could have ever done any acting in my life, because I stink at remembering things.
You're a legend, and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, come on up to the mic. Next person, what is your name? What do you got for this legend?
My name's Thomas.
How you doing, Thomas?
First, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for the Halloween franchise
Oh, you're
and for
welcome.
horror as a whole. And mine's not really so much a question as it is a favor, but would you be willing to breathe as Michael one more time?
Oh, well, I'll give it a try. And scene.
Thank you.
That was probably the easiest question you've ever had in your life. Breathe for me. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's my only line. Now I think of it, I can remember the breathing.
You just got him to recite every single line he's ever done in a movie all at once, dude. That was amazing. All right, next person coming up to the mic. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey, how's it going, Nick? My name's Edwin.
Yeah.
Just want to thank you for coming to Ocala, but I had a very easy question for you. The 78 Halloween's always been my favorite of the Halloween movies. My favorite scene is always the head kill.
Yeah.
I think I got a signature from you yesterday of that scene. Just curious if you had any thoughts when you were doing that scene underneath the mask, when you were doing the actual head tilt.
If I had any thoughts, what?
Were you thinking anything? What were you
What are you thinking when you did the head tilt?
Oh, I see.
If anything.
Here's what I was thinking. Why is John asking me to tilt my head? Because it really had nothing to do with me coming up with that idea. That was all John Carpenter's idea. I was literally doing the scene, and off camera, which was taken out obviously from the sound. He's going, Nick, tilt your head to the right. I'm going like this. What's he doing? This is what I'm thinking. What the hell is he doing? Why doesn't he just cut the camera? Tilt your head to the left, Nick. So it was very much like a puppeteer, He came up with the idea. And I didn't know what he was doing until I saw the dailies. And I went, oh, I get it now. He's kind of admiring his work, So that was a very cool idea.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Sure.
All right, so I got another question for you. So you've had multiple people come up and be like, thank you for creating the character.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel kind of like you know, it wasn't really me. I was just a part of it because, you know, there was a collaboration between John Carpenter and all the others that have come after you. Like, how does it make you feel when people want to give you that much credit for the character? Are you like, that's right, that is me, I'm the one that did it? Or are you like, hey, it's all of us that kind of put it together to make it what it is?
Well, I mean, to be honest about it, yeah, it takes a village to make a Michael Myers. So, but you've heard me already discuss, you know, John's input. Well, John also kind of gave me a kind of, it was not a lot of direction, but, you know, I asked him, you know, how do you want me to walk? And he said, just go over there, you see it there? Walk over here. That was his direction. So I kind of figured that out. The mask itself is, you know, I mean, 75-80% of the character, and the clothes and everything. I mean, it's just, you know, that's why I think a lot of the people that came after me did a great job. You know, they just always had that ability. Now, the mask itself went through different iterations that I didn't particularly like. I thought the first one was the best, and it just had a kind of something about it. So yeah, no, I include everyone that had anything to do with it.
All right, next person, come on up and tell us your name and give us your question.
Hello, Nick. My name is Quentin. Nice to meet you. So I was just wondering, the original mask that you were just talking about, I know that you had it for a short period of time after you were done filming the movie.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. I heard that you had the original mask for a short period of time after you filmed the first movie, and then it was gifted to or given to Deborah Hill somehow between that and the first movie and the second movie, and then somehow Dick Warlock got it. But I was wondering, how did that happen? How did you
How did I pass the mask along?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Oh yeah. Well, I had the mask. I kept one of the masks. There were 3 masks made, and I kept one of the masks and had it, you know, over the bust, you know, and on my shelf in my office for years, I think it was. And then suddenly I got a call from Deborah Hill, the producer of Halloween 2, who said, Nick, you have your old mask because we've lost the other ones, and we're having trouble trying to recreate it the right way. So I said, well, she just came and borrowed it, and then I never got it back. I guess it'd be worth something right now. So
I would think so.
Kind of like having a Roger Maris 61 card or something.
But we'll go to Pawn Stars and we'll find out. Oh, we'll give you $350 for that mask.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey Drew, if you get a chance, can you get a little bit more of the stage mic in our ears? It's really hard to hear the live mic up here on the stage. Next person, come on up and feel free to tilt that mic down for you and speak real loud into the mic for us right now. What is your name? What is your question?
Hi, my name's Toby.
Hey, Toby.
I was wondering, how do you feel about the fan fiction and fan art made of you?
The what?
The fan fictions and fan art that's made of you.
Oh, I mean, there's some amazing stuff. I mean, the fan art, it really blows my mind how much how much talent is out there and how much effort people put into recreating something. And of course, some of it is done for selling at some of these fantastic stalls that are here. And some are done just for the love of doing it, you know, and recreating a kind of mood. Have you seen this new book that came out that was all about fan art?
No, I haven't.
Oh, there's a coffee table book that's been published. I don't know. I wish I should know, you know, who did it. And they asked me to do a little forward to it, so I put some of the information I'm telling you now. And it's just page after page of great art of all about Michael. So I encourage you to kind of look that up. It's probably on Amazon if you look up fan art of Michael Myers, but it's worth getting.
Yes. Thank you. You are super cool.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I got a question for you real quick. So you say you're attending these cons and you've been doing it for like 10 years. Have you ever gone to a show where somebody didn't know who you were at first and you walk up to their table and you're like, hey, that picture of Michael Myers right there, I'll take it. You know why? Because that's me. Have you ever surprised anybody at a show by going to their booth and you're like, hey man, I'm the OG and
Well, I do go around to see what people are doing because there's always some great stuff to look at. And from time to time, it's not as if everyone knows I'm getting more and more known, I think, because I've been on a couple documentaries recently, and a lot of people saw it on Netflix, and so you saw my face, and because obviously the whole time I was under the mask, and when the mask came off, that was another actor, Tony Moran. So there's occasion where people don't know me, but then some people do triple takes. But I certainly don't do anything like lord it over anybody or make it a condition of me coming into their booth that they know me. So
give it to me for free. All right, next person coming up to the mic. Tell us your name. Tell this man your question.
My name's Rhiannon, and out of the newer movies, which one is like your favorite, and what's your favorite scene?
Of the Michael Myers?
Of the newer movies.
Of the new movies. Ooh, the first one was 2018 was my favorite of the three, and my favorite scene was probably mine. No, well, I also like. God, there was some really good stuff in there. I really like what James and David did with the opening stuff where he kills the woman in the bathroom, and he did it where you never saw his face, but you saw hints of his face because he didn't have the mask yet. And then when he goes into the trunk and pulls it on, I love that whole sequence. I thought that was really well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, last question from the peanut gallery here. Coming up here, tell us your name. Give this man the most amazing question he's ever heard in his entire life, or just whatever one you want to ask him.
Okay. Hi, Nick. My name's Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah, I was just wondering, this kind of goes off of the newer movies as well, and you showing your face. So your cameo in Ends, I was just curious. You were saying how David would let you read these scripts. I was wondering what was your involvement in the See Anything You Like? Was that you, him, Danny? Who created that beautiful scene?
Okay, well, hopefully people have seen this one. I come out and I'm credited as the Flasher. So I have a scene in the bar with Rowan who plays Corey, and it was written into the script as just he bumps into somebody, turns around, and it's disconcerting for him. It's the first, you see how basically shy the guy is, and it's one of the stepping stones to show who he is and whatnot. So David then said early on, before they started shooting, he said, Nick, we want you in again this year, but we have this new idea. What if you didn't play Michael Myers this time? I mean, because, we've done that now twice. Why don't we put you in another scene? I said, whatever you want, David. And then, so he said, okay, here's a place in the bar. At one point, he and I know he was thinking of making me the homeless guy. But then I read that, I went, no, you need a real actor for that. That's someone that, has to actually do things with their face. I'm not a good actor. So he went, then he came up with this idea. And the original character that he had me was as a man dressed in a woman's outfit. So I was going to come in with a bra on and long hair and stuff like that. Then at the end he said, no, we have this other idea. We have this costume. He told me about the costume and the condoms coming off it. You're going to be a flasher. And I said, well, what is he going to say? And he went, you're just going to mumble something really loud, like incoherently. So I came up with the idea of doing the reprise of the line from the first Halloween, See Anything You Like, because I thought, that makes sense, see anything you like, So David said, you're a genius, we're doing it. So that's how it came to be.
Yeah, that was a great callback. So.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, thanks a lot for the questions from out there. So I have a couple more for you before we wrap up here. Okay. So, James Jude Courtney had him on a panel and he is a very intelligent guy and really looks really deep into the relationships, especially with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
When you came back on set and you saw the relationship with he and Jamie Lee Curtis, was there any kind of like jealousy, like, hey, that's my girl to terrorize over there? What's going on, James?
No, by the time I had got on the set on the first one, James had already started the show. So whatever instincts he had from how to play the character, I know he looked at the first movie, saw how I walked stuff, and kind of got an impression that I think he used. But no, I mean, from the beginning, this was always just fun for me, and fun to get back and be part of the franchise again. And James and I have become the best of friends because of the relationship. And he's such a sweetheart of a guy, and really strong. I mean, when I saw him doing it, I said, I was kind of more. We were both cat-like, I thought, but I was more like a panther, and he's more like a lion. He's just like, he is powerful. So old Michael grew up. Literally, too. He grew 3 inches from me.
All right, so we've run out of time here, but obviously we've only pretty much talked about Halloween up here, and you've done so many more other things. When these people leave the show today and they go home and they go on Netflix or YouTube or whatever, what is something else that you've worked on that you're like, man, I really wish that they would go back and they would look at this other thing that I directed that I'm really proud of? What is something that you really want these fans of Halloween to go and also enjoy that is something that you've worked on?
Oh, well, like I mentioned, I'm not really an actor, but after Halloween, John, again, helped me with my career because I co-wrote Escape from New York with John, which I think is, if you haven't seen that, that's a good one. My second movie was a movie called The Last Starfighter, which is a great old, space opera. And another one is The Boy Who Could Fly, which was a fantasy that I did back in the middle 80s. I did comedies. I did the Dennis the Menace as a director, and Major Payne with Damon Wayans. I know some of the fans here love that one, especially the military folks. They've been using those lines on their kids, I think, for their whole life. And then I co-wrote the story for Hook. That was Steven Spielberg. And the last thing I did was wrote in the 2007, 2008. I did a movie called August Rush with Robin Williams in it. Oh, thank you.
All right, so he's given you guys an entire long medieval scroll list of viewing material, and he's going to give you a test on it next time you see it. All right, so hold your applause, because we're going to give him a big round of applause here at the end. But don't forget, coming up here in just about 15 minutes, 12 minutes, we're going to have Alex Winter from Alan Seth's Excellent Adventure and Lost Boys, and then after that, the cast of Terrifier 2. Then we're going to have Tim Capella back up here. If you didn't see his performance yesterday, I was actually blown away by this dude's performance. It's great. And then after that is the costume contest. If you guys want to sign up for it, I think they're ending the signups at 3 o'clock or when all the spots are filled over at the Ocala booth. So make sure you remember all those things. So Nick, what is the one thing you want to say?
Tim Capella was in my movie Tap with Gregory Hines and Sammy Davis Jr. So ask him a question about Tap. He'll be stunned that you'll remember him. And also then ask Alex, because he's a tap dancer. No one knows this, but we do now. We do now. So ask him a tap dancing question. He'll be blown away.
Sounds good. All right. Everybody, let's give a big round of applause for the OG, Mr.